Hello, Packer fans. Welcome to Packer Talk with Green, the last game of the season until '99 when we trying to go to Miami and with my special guest, Roger Wolf. Thank you, Roger, for coming down here. And we're going to have to get through this game talk in this off season and get ready for the '99 and '98 schedule. First of all, I'd like to thank John Wallace and Steve Wagner. They helped send me and Casey Schmick and his dad, Mark Schmick. I said, boy, has leukemia in Armoro. He went out to San Diego with lodging and stuff to watch the Packer game, and unfortunately we lost. I just want to thank you two gentlemen and other businessmen involved in the Valley for sending me and Mark and Casey out to San Diego. Well, Roger, everybody picked the Packers win by 10 points or more. We go out to San Diego, and we did not accomplish that feat of winning back-to-back Super Bowls. And where do you think, okay, we'll talk a little bit about the game. Okay, what do you think really was a changing point of that football game, or what do you think the Packers could have done? We had trouble with the run defense.
That was
basically the defense of the run against the run. The Packers have done really well lately, but yes, it was Sunday they didn't do very well at all. And Terrell Davis, MVP, 3 touchdowns, almost 160 yards on the ground, Roger. So where is that problem? Was that? I know that was a big part of the reason why we lost the game, because
I think
we couldn't stop the run.
That was the biggest key of them all, was our inability to stop the running game. The only time we stopped the running game was in the second period, and that was the period, unfortunately, that Terrell Davis was out.
Playing, no.
So other than that, we couldn't stop Terrell Davis at all. We didn't stop John Elway. We didn't contain him when he had to. He scrambled 3 times for first downs, and that didn't help because that kept drives alive, and I think at least 2 of those drives they scored touchdowns off of. So the major consideration was we were out-coached, and our run defense was not even there, really. I mean,
you had a tough time of it.
We did. You know, the game started out real good because we took the first drive
8 plays gone,
went right down the field and scored, but then we kicked off and Denver did the same thing. They took the ball right down the field and tied the game back up.
Yep.
Another thing that didn't help our cause in this game at all was the fact that we had those 2 early turnovers. We weren't picking up the Denver blitzes. They were blitzing us, and they were having 2 or 3 guys coming in on fire on every play, and we just couldn't pick up the blitzes. You know, nobody was. I mean, there was 1 or 2 guys every time would get through to the quarterback, and you can't have that, you know.
How come we didn't do that to Elway? How come?
That was a good question.
Of course, when we lose, all our problems are magnified, and when we win, you can't see them. But how come Fritz and his staff didn't try to shake up Elway? He's 37 years old. I guess he's a great athlete. He proved it. He's got my respect because he did a real good job. But wasn't there any way that we could have shook him up a little bit?
I think so. I don't know if our blitzes were picked up by Denver or if we just didn't blitz as much. It seemed like a combination of both. When we did blitz, they picked it up, and I don't think we blitzed enough. You know, and that might have rattled John Elway a little bit. Although John Elway is a 15-year veteran.
He's seen it all.
He's seen everything, you know, and he deserved to win a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, I wish it wouldn't happen the way it did against the Green Bay Packers, but at least we made it to 2 Super Bowls in a row, and we will be back in Miami in 1999, and 2 out of 3 ain't bad, Green.
Me and him are going to stay on a beach, Miami. We're going to have wine, women, and song, right, Raj?
I'd love it.
But anyway, yeah, that's where
I'd love it.
That's where the Super Bowl is in '99. So anyway, I didn't get to go to the game. I was not inside. I did not have a ticket, so I was doing a lot of tailgate party watching on TVs out in the parking lot and stuff. So I really can't analyze the game all that much. But what I seen, and I didn't see it all. I didn't see a lot of the football game because I was outside looking for a place to see it. But anyway, all I know, the bottom line is, I finished on my way back to my motel room. I seen a little bit on TV, and we had a chance until the end. We had a couple tries at it. We missed the 3rd down and something with somewhat of a bad pass. Brett Favre rolled out and missed Antonio Freeman, and that at the end of the game it was 4th and 6, and game set match with that 4th and 6 incomplete pass.
You know, we were out-coached in that game.
Yes,
and there were several moves as far as the inactives and that might have changed the game. You know, and they had guys like Paul Fraze and Jermaine Smith, both were inactive, and they had Darius Holland active. And
Darius Holland did not do a very good job.
It should have been the other way around, because Darius Holland was a definite negative in that game for the Green Bay Packers.
You got that 15-yard personal foul penalty at the end of the go-ahead scoring touchdown by Denver on that.
You know, Denver had 3 of their touchdowns, well, actually all 3 of their touchdowns, or 3 of the 4 touchdowns, I should say, were on short field drives, you know, like 45, 50 yards, and that doesn't help. You know, you make a team drive 80 or 90 yards, you've got a good chance of stopping him. You give him a 45 or 50-yard drive, most teams can score at least 50% of the time on those kind of drives, you know. And that didn't help in our field position. Those 2 turnovers set him up in good field position.
I guess Denver wanted it more than us, Roger. They played harder than we did. It seemed like they had a bigger heart for the game than we did. I don't know if they had more to work for or whatever in that game, but they did win, and they played hard enough to win the ball game.
They
Very hard, very hard they did.
They played better than us. They deserved to win the game, although I thought right up until the bitter end, until that 4th and 6th pass was incomplete with like 28 seconds left, I thought we were going to tie the game up and send it into overtime.
Okay.
And then I thought that once we got to overtime, we would get the ball to start the overtime and never let Denver see the ball. But unfortunately, that didn't happen.
No, we were talking before the show about the referee, and no. The referees somewhat had a bad time a little bit, didn't they?
Referees somewhat had a bad time. I don't think there's been a good referee game all year.
Here.
I mean, there was, you know, like...
Well, I guess you're not supposed to blame referees on the game, but they do have sometimes an influence on the game. Sometimes.
They definitely have an influence on the games. In particular, I can think of one play where the Packers, Robert Brooks,
he was held.
got his feet tangled up with the receiver, which was okay. You know, that
was
stuff
held,
happens.
yeah.
But if you look at the replay on that one, about 10 yards back up the field, the guy grabbed him and held on for about 5 yards. That should have been called, you know, so we still should have had a first down on that situation on about the 15-yard line.
Yep.
But the thing of it was, too, when we did get that one penalty, we kicked the field goal to tie it at 17 and 17.
Yeah, they moved it back and we tried again.
We got the ball back, and we ended up settling for a field goal again. You know, maybe if we could have scored a touchdown there and got the lead, maybe we could have changed the momentum, made Denver play catch-up football for a change, and maybe the game might have turned around with that. But it didn't happen, and then Denver went down and took the lead again.
A touchdown's so important in any football game.
And like Mike
over
Holmgren,
three, a touchdown any day.
Mike Holmgren said during that game, you know, he said that it was like an NBA game of sorts. You know, the Packers would fall behind, then they'd expand and use up all their energy just to catch up and tie the game. And then they didn't have enough energy left at the time to take the lead. You know, they'd fall back behind again, and then they'd have to come back again. And you just can't keep doing that for a whole game.
You know,
although you can't use that as an excuse because they had
opportunities.
They had 2 weeks in between, you know, so you can't say that the defense. There was a lot of comments during the game that the defense was looking tired. It shouldn't have really been that way because they had 2 weeks in between game, you know. That should be plenty of time for a defensive player to get rested up again.
Yeah.
And losing Gabe Wilkins did hurt, you know, because then Darius Holland came in, and he was really a non-factor in the game.
He's not a very good ball player for us.
So anyway, like I said, you know, at least we made it to the Super Bowl. It wasn't the result we wanted, but next year we go back in 2 out of 3 Super Bowls. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I went up to the Green Bay ceremony today, and it was about 35,000 fans at Lambeau Field, and we got to keep our heads up, stay focused for '98 season, Roger. And the better team did win this past weekend, but the best team is green and gold, and we will be back. A lot of loyal fans were saddened. I guess it felt good for me to get up there for that so-called group therapy, if you want to call it that, to let out some steam a little bit, some bad anxiety and stuff. And then when I sit down and think about this, because it really hasn't sunk into me yet, when I sit down and think about this or lay awake at night or whatever, when I get at work, I'm thinking about it. You know, the overall picture is that the Green Bay Packers are the best team in the National Football League, although they weren't that day. They have definitely the best fans in the National Football League, and the best facilities, the best general manager, and pretty much the best overall pitcher in the National Football League. We just have to stay with their team. Don't anybody leave. You're here on the bandwagon, so-called bandwagon. Just stay here.
The Packers will be back.
Yes, we will be back. Just hanging there, and we got an off season now. We have to suck up a little bit and put our nose, keep our eyes focused and our head up, and just believe in the Packers are the best team, and we'll be fine. But don't leave and don't be doing anything strange out there. Just stay with the Packers. We'll be fine.
You know, another thing that was kind of strange about that game was normally in the third and fourth quarters, Dorsey Levens gets stronger as the game goes on. Well, he only had 1 carry in the entire fourth quarter.
It's amazing.
You know, where was Dorsey Levens? Although he did catch 5 passes for 50 yards in that fourth quarter. But he's a definite, his strength is improving, you know, as the game wears on. In the fourth quarter, he's the strongest he is during the game. He said not because he gets to be a better running back. he slows down and he reads his blocking better. And they only gave him the ball one time, so that didn't help either, you know.
Some of that stuff we don't know as armchair quarterbacks what the reason coach does this, but sometimes it doesn't seem that we would do the same thing. But Coach Mike knows what he's doing a lot more than we do, and I guess we have to trust him. And who knows why Doyson Evans didn't run the ball later in the game, Rod? But you know, we got beat.
We did. We got beat. We had a chance to pull it out and tie it at the end. We just couldn't connect.
You know, we don't like horses. We don't like horses. We got beat by the Colts. Now we got beat by the Broncos. A couple of kinds of horses out there. In fact, our 4 losses this year were against the Wild Kingdom. You know,
The Lions,
the
Eagles,
and a couple of horses. So the Wild Kingdom and the Packer fans don't get along very well. But anyway, we'll take care of business next year.
15-4 is not a bad record, really, when you look at it.
Oh no, we're 30.
We're 31-9 over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
31-7.
31-7 over the last 2 years. So that's
over the
not
last
too
2
bad.
years. That's pretty good.
Okay. We don't want to dwell. You know, I don't really want to get into this loss. It's heartbreaking enough, Roger. We had opportunities to win. There might have been a few coaching mistakes or some letdowns here and there on both sides of the ball and turnovers. So basically, it was not a very well played game by the Green Bay Packers.
Well,
overall picture.
One coaching mistake that I don't know how they could do that. How nobody on the entire coaching staff knew at the end of the game that they had a 2nd and goal on the 1. We had 2 timeouts.
How come one of the players didn't say timeout and recognize it too?
Somebody should have. I don't know.
What I mean?
Where the miscommunication was, but there definitely was miscommunication somewhere along the line in that time, because we still had 2 timeouts left. You know, granted they might not have stopped Denver's running game because they didn't the whole game.
Yeah, they really were running the ball.
But we should have used our timeouts and tried to stop them like we did in the New England game. You know, they had a 1st and goal on the 1-yard line in the New England game.
Stuffed them, yep.
And we stopped them 4 straight plays. You know,
And
we got the ball back and went 99 yards.
And scored, yep.
You know, they could have at least tried. You know, because from what I heard, the coaches told the defense to let Denver score. You know, because they thought they were going to do the same thing that Indianapolis did, which was run the clock down to like 3 seconds and then kick the field goal. But if we had tried to stop them on
if they knew what down it was.
2nd down, you stop them, you call a timeout. You're still going to save the clock. You know, we had 2 timeouts left. That was a coaching mistake. But hopefully, the one good thing that will come out of that is now both Mike Holmgren and Ron Wolf will stay in Green Bay because we have unfinished business to take care of.
I guess the Seattle thing came up before the game about Mike Holmgren being offered a buku amount of money, signing bonus, the general manager, head coach, and the whole spiel. But I'm glad Mike Holmgren's staying here for unfinished business and win a couple of Super Bowls yet. Then may he go where, well, he's from the West Coast, a little bit closer than Wisconsin is. But anyway, and I think we have unfinished business to do, and we're going to be in the Super Bowl next year again.
We're going to go back. We'll be in Miami, and we'll win again next year.
Yeah.
And things are looking up, you know, even though this is a little bit of a down time for Green Bay. We're looking up.
I look at the overall picture, Roger, of the greatness of our team and everything.
The key thing right now is hopefully our free agents that we have coming up. We'll take a key from Gilbert Brown last year and stay in Green Bay, take a little less money, knowing that they have unfinished business and that they could win 2 or 3 more Super Bowls if we keep everybody together.
Okay, basically you think Don Beebe probably will retire?
Well,
you think so?
Yes and no. I'm not really sure. I think Don Beebe still wants to play. I think he was disappointed that he couldn't play in the Super Bowl.
How about Billy Schrader?
Billy Schrader, I think he might be the odd man out.
Okay. Reggie White. How about Reggie White? Is Reggie White going to be a full-time player, or is he going to maybe relegate himself to half-time coaching?
I think Reggie will play 1 more year, in my opinion, but I don't think he'll be a full-time player. I think what you said about being half player, half coach, I think he'll probably go more in a scheme like that this coming season. He'll still play because he can still play and he can still be there, be a force when he needs to be.
He wasn't a force the other day, though.
Nobody was a force on that defense, really.
No.
I mean,
we got what, 12? We got 12 restricted and 12 unrestricted free agents. That's from Seth Joyner, Aaron Taylor, Brooks, Freeman, Evans, Levins. I don't know. There's a couple more out there.
There's a few other ones I can't think of offhand.
A few other ones out there, but we somewhat, Roger, we got to keep this nucleus together. Whether they take a pay cut, and stay for another chance at Super Bowl ring or not. It's up to them, of course. That's the way the football game is today. But I think maybe the Packers will have a trend here, like you said, with Gilby last year, and maybe some of these players will stay for less of a money.
That would be nice to see, just even if they just say, well, we'll sign for the same amount, because the Packers do have extra money this year with the new television contracts coming out, so they do have the extra money, but I would still like to keep that nucleus intact, because
we got Brett Favre.
They got real good football players, in every position. Just keep these guys in Green Bay, and we'll be back in the Super Bowl maybe 2 or 3 times before the turn of the century, which is every Super Bowl I'm talking about. So hopefully that does happen, and Mike Holmgren stays, because he doesn't have...
Okay, now, with Mike Holmgren, how about Mr. Sherm Lewis? What's going on? What do you think he's doing? Where is it? If he goes down to Dallas, it's going to ruin you, Sherm. Don't go down to Dallas. It's going to ruin you.
Well, I hope he gets a head coaching job.
But not now, ruin him. He goes down there, please.
The thing of it with Dallas is, if you go down there and become the head coach, you're going to have to contend with Jerry Jones. Anytime something starts going wrong in Dallas, Jerry Jones is there, He's got to be...
Well, good luck to Sherman. I hope he does get a job in the NFL. He warrants one.
He definitely
Whether he gets one or
warrants
not is another thing. I hope he does. Good luck to him. Any other of our coaches going to be... Fritz Shermer, he's a great defensive mind, although he had trouble Sunday, Roger, against Denver. He's a great defensive coordinator, great defensive mind. I don't know if age has to do with it or whatever. Maybe his comfort zone is working with Mike Holmgren and Brett Favre and Reggie and all these other guys. So we don't know if he's moving on. He has no offer yet to him. Hopefully Fritz will stay because they're getting it. And Nolan Cromwell might be up for some sort of a head coaching job.
Yeah, it could be.
Special team coach for the Green Bay Packers. So there will definitely be some changes from the coaching staff, the players, and everything else come up here in the '98 season.
Maybe.
But hopefully we'll keep the intact, the nucleus together, and then we can make and keep this run going a little bit.
Maybe Fritz Shermer's defense, maybe they just didn't execute, like they have in the past, Maybe the execution wasn't there. Maybe that was the problem, It's hard to say, really, but it goes back to the run defense, and the run defense just wasn't there,
No, it wasn't.
I mean, no matter who was carrying the ball, they were still getting positive yards on every play. The Denver scheme of blocking worked in the Super Bowl game.
They were saying that the Denver scheme of blocking was to slide left to right and make the defensive guys run an extra couple of steps one way or the other, and I guess an extra steps, a couple of steps every play throughout the game is maybe going to wear you out a little bit. Not so much of a straight pass run blocking scheme.
I noticed too a lot of times in the running game of Denver, when Terrell Davis would run to the right or to the left, everybody would over pursue. The whole 6 or 7 guys would over pursue, and then all of a sudden there'd be a lane for him to cut back.
You don't think the Green Bay Packers would have learned from the scenes that we have to stop run defense, Barry Sanders, that they would know to watch the back door, or in the front door and the side door of some of these running backs? Somebody would stay home.
You would think they would have, but in this Super Bowl game they didn't. Like I said, whether it was lack of execution or just whatever it was, they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And it cost them, it cost them dearly.
Yes.
It cost them a chance to be 2-time defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Anyway, Green, so how was your time in San Diego other than that?
I had a real good time in San Diego. A lot of Packer fans down there. I went to the Irv family tailgate, Irv Favre, Brett family Favre tailgate party. I had a real good time. I was at a saloon in San Diego with Mr. Thompson. Our governor showed up by chance, and we had a little libation with him. The weather was too nice for me. I don't like that weather. I was looking for a snow shovel and a snowblower all weekend. I couldn't find one of those. But one thing good about San Diego, they had very good orange juice. But I had a good time in Tijuana. Went down there, and I had a good time. I was dressed up a couple times at tailgate parties and whatnot, and I seen a lot of Packer fans, a lot of people from Oshkosh I know, and people from Green Bay, regular fans of Green Bay, and I had a real good time. It was just, I didn't get into the game. I'm not lucky enough like that barrelman in Denver that somebody gave him a ticket. I didn't have a ticket. I had people helping me get there in the motel room, but I didn't have a ticket. So hopefully things will work out for me in Miami in '99. But I had a real good time. Didn't spend a lot of money. I enjoyed the local atmosphere, and stuff, and I was in Old Town, I guess it was called, part of San Diego. I stayed at the Hacienda, and I had enough taco dip and chips and salsa. That's enough of that stuff. I want burgers and French fries now for a
How
while.
about a few brats too?
And a
Throw
few brats. I
on
got
the
sick of
grill.
that kind of stuff. So it was very. I don't know. I thought New Orleans was a little bit more organized. We had a lot of buses down there, and the trolleys were pretty. They tried. Well, they tried. There was a big influx of people, so they're really not extra 100,000 people down in San Diego. So they had to figure out the best way. It means the transportation and taking care of all these people. They did their best, but I thought it could have been a little organized, a little bit better than that. But
Well, wasn't New Orleans everything wasn't it closer together
Closer
than
and-
San Diego? It was kind of
yeah,
spread out.
well, they
more.
party all the time in San Diego. It's 24 hours. I mean, in New Orleans, they party 24 hours a day. Here, they didn't party 24 hours a day. You know, it's a laid-back little city where I was anyway. So,
That-
one of the before we lost the game, the new area code of Denver was, guess what? We were giving these Denver Broncos a little heat. The new area code Denver before the game was 045. You get it? 045. But unfortunately, it didn't come out that way. It's 1-for-5. But it was a good time. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed the Packer fans especially, and a lot of people knew the Green Man down there in San Diego, and I had a real good time
That's good.
and stuff. And looking to go to Miami '99 with you and me on the beach.
That would be nice.
Yeah, you and the Babe Watch
Yeah, green and gold.
and the Babe Watch. So.
Green and gold on the beaches
Anyway,
of
I guess we got a few
Miami.
minutes, Ken. I got to, Scott, before the time ends, I just got to thank all my guests throughout the year. I'd love to thank my sponsors, Coca-Cola, Ratch and Debs, and all the guys down there. They did a very good job. Thank you very much for the pizza. Everybody enjoyed them. Audio Plus, thank you for sponsoring me with the videotape for this show. But I can't thank everybody else that was behind the scenes here, Ken and Andy and Brad and everybody else that was working on here behind the camera for the Green Show this year. We had a real good time. We fell one game short. Like I said, I just can't thank enough people for helping me with this show. And my guests, we had a lot of good guests this year. We had a lot of fun. I think we had a lot of fun in this show. It was interesting. A whole new thing. Next year, I'm going to put a whole new background together. I hope Roger probably will be back next year. And we got 187 days till, I guess, camp, I guess.
Training camp.
So I guess tomorrow is starting to count 186 days. We had a great season, Roger. 2 back-to-back 13-3 season, 2 back-to-back Super Bowl years. We won one, we lost one. Hopefully we'll keep the nucleus there, keep everybody healthy, keep Coach Mike and Ron Wolf there together. We don't know what's going to go on with the coaching staff, who we're going to leave, and what kind of players are going to come and go. But overall, I think the bright spot is still on Green Bay. We have a very good chance of going back to the Super Bowl a couple more times yet before this is done. Other than that, I'd just like to thank everybody for watching. I hope you had a good time watching the show. I know it's kind of strange and funny sometimes. I try my best. I'm really not an excellent host, but I try my best to be a good host on this show. And I just hope everybody enjoyed Bounce and Royal, my usual, and all the women out there that watch, the wives, the friends I have out there and stuff. So my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, my daughter. I'm going to be a grandfather in about 3 weeks, maybe. I'll be a Grandpa Green, and it will be brought up in a Packer world, believe me. Little Green out there. So anything else, Roger, would like to say? You got to say hi to some folks out there.
I'd like to say hi to my 2 cousins. Hi, Jewel. Hi, Orrin. I'd like to say hi to my good friend Raymond. Hi to everybody I work with.
And you work where, Rod?
I work at the Visiting Nurses in Neenah.
He has a very good job. Doesn't get enough appreciation, and he works very hard.
Very rewarding work.
It's very self-rewarding work, taking care of the people that need some care.
I enjoy that.
Okay.
And definitely, Green, the Packers will be back next year.
We got some work to do a little bit.
We'll work on it. We got the whole off season to do that, and we'll take care of what we got to do, keep the people that we have to, and we'll be back in Miami in 1999 to win our 4th Super Bowl in 5 tries.
So what else would I like to talk about? I don't know. Other than that, my off-season things I plan on doing after my daughter's baby is we'll get that. We'll have fun with that for a while. We'll get used to that new family member in our family, boy or girl, doesn't matter, as long as it's healthy. I'm going to try to go on the internet. I'm going to try to get. I know I've been trying to get this show statewide, but I'm going to try to get this show statewide. I'm going to work on that. And I'm even trying to think about cutting a song or 2 about the Green Man. That's my project in the summer. I hope I can do them if I have time and it works out. But if not, I will be back here. I will be back here anyway at Channel 10 next year, and we'll do another 98 season on the Green Show down here.
I'd like to say one more thing.
Yes, sir.
I would like to say congratulations to the Denver Broncos.
Oh,
They
yes.
won the Super Bowl. They played the better game.
Yeah, hey,
They deserved it.
let's do this.
I'll do it one time and one time only.
Salute. The Mile High thing. I guess that's Smile High now.
To Denver. We will be back next year, and we will regain the Lombardi Trophy and bring it back to Lambeau Field.
But Denver,
for return to Titletown 3.
Better party. Don't do all that stuff you've been doing out in Denver. Just relax. I guess somebody get a lot of bad things went out there in the celebration. I understand they had a lot of frustrating years, but learn how to party and celebrate the Green Bay Packaway. Things will be a lot better off for your team, your city and stuff. So, anything else, Roger? We can
Well, I'm trying to think right
really
now.
the season's over with now. We gotta.
You know, the thing that it comes down to is probably, you know, in the long run, we did not execute as good as we should have, you know. We turned the ball over a few times. We gave them 10 points. That turned out to be the difference in the game right there, you know. And if we'd executed like we had been throughout most of the year, we'd probably be sitting here talking about how we have won the Super Bowl again. You know, and
Do you think the Packers will be 13-3 again, or what? We really don't know the player team up there, who's going to be, who's not going to be, the injuries and stuff. What do you think? Do you think the Packers will be? They're going to win the Central Division again.
13-3 will put us right back in the same position.
I don't know. I'll make a prediction. What do you think the prediction will be? What's
I'll
your
go with
prediction?
another 13-3
13-3,
season,
I don't know.
and then win 3 playoff games, and we'll be Super Bowl champions come this time next year.
Should I be bold like Leroy and say 19-0?
No, I don't think.
No,
we
I don't
go-
think anybody in Green Bay Packer uniform is going to be saying anything like that.
That's a little hard, you know, because you have to play
Oh,
at the
God.
top of your game
Every game.
all the time. I mean,
All
you
the
can't
time.
afford one slip up. You know, you make one slip up, and that 19-0, like we proved in the second week against the Eagles, you know.
Or the Colt
We
game.
stubbed our toe, you know.
The animal Wild Kingdom again.
We didn't play well, you know. In those games we didn't play well. Most of those games that we didn't play well, we did lose, you know. We had chances to win 2 of those games for sure. Actually, we had chances to win the Super Bowl. We just didn't execute enough. You know, Denver out-executed us, out-coached us. They deserved it. Let Denver enjoy this Super Bowl victory. Let everybody out there have their parties, you know, and celebrate the title that they deserve this year. But Green Bay will be back. We will recapture the Lombardi Trophy.
Okay. I just think I thank my guests again, thank my sponsors, the staff that are behind the camera, anybody involved with Channel 10, OCAT,
Go Pack, go!
and stuff. So thanks, Raj. We'll be back next year. I guess we got a little bit of time, just a few seconds left. So overall, we did very well. We were 1 game short of our goal, but we're going to rebound and go back to the Miami 99. I guess we're going to wrap here in a little bit. No, we don't. We got to wrap. So PACKERS.
Go Pack, go!
Go Pack, go! Go Pack, go! Go Pack, go! Yeah.